I must admit though, I'm a tad bit worried about where to stay tonight because I haven't been able to arrange anything really. What a beautiful morning. Apparently the rain is supposed to hold off until about lunchtime, which hopefully will give me enough time to get down. Hold on. No, I'm going this way. And I am reliably informed that it is not as steep as yesterday was. In fact, the route I came yesterday is the steepest one up here, so that's comforting. Yeah, we shall see. Every morning this week I've been waking up in a little bit more pain and thinking it wouldn't do any harm if I spent just one more night in this place. And every morning I have to force myself to get out of bed, prepare my things, stretch it out, and start. Once you get going, within the first sort of 20-30 minutes, you're into the swing of things and it's actually alright. But the beginning is tough. I mean, this looks already much better. I mean, look at that. This is what I'm talking about. Nice clear path, nice and wide, subtle gradient. If it's like this all the way down, I'm a happy bunny. In the mountain lodge, I met a man who was from Strasbourg and he must have been about 60. And he walked over the mountains on the other side. Now, you saw those mountains, right? They were taller than this. It took him, he said, about 11-12 hours. No fuss. And in the storm as well. He did admit it was a bit too much, but he seemed in pretty good spirits when he arrived. And there's me crying about having to climb one mountain. I got a lot to learn. I've seen a few cars now parked alongside the route, with hikers wanting to climb the last hour, which of course is a good sign, because if a car can get here, that means I can get down. One wrong step and it's a one-way trip all the way down. You really have to think where you're planting your feet. I've been descending all day pretty much. How am I still so high up? It's one way of getting around. I don't know why I'm surprised that stuff is cheaper here. At the place that I was staying, which is a ski resort. Yesterday when I arrived I had a drink. Then for dinner I had a 2-course meal with a glass of wine, which was very tasty. This morning I had a buffet breakfast. And they even gave me 2 sandwiches as a packed lunch. And I had all my clothes washed. And all of that without the actual room came to 15 euros, which seems ridiculous. Solar to the max. I must admit though, I'm a tad bit worried about where to stay tonight, because I haven't been able to arrange anything really, because it's just hamlet after hamlet. It's crazy to think that in the last hour I came from actually came from the other side of this mountain. Came over that church right there, walked straight past that, and then came through that village, and then all the way around there, and to here. First indication of snakes. Yay! Yeah, I'm really not sure where I'm spending the night tonight. Tried a couple of couch surfers, but it was all very short notice and they weren't able to. There aren't really any hostels or hotels to speak of, certainly not online. So I'm kind of just walking in the direction I need to be going and hoping either I come across one or I'll just set up camp somewhere appropriate. So, last night happened. Slovenia, you don't disappoint. I was walking with no real aim in mind. I knew the direction I needed to go in, but had nowhere to stay for last night. So I resigned myself to camping somewhere. And with about 1 hour of daylight left, I started asking people if they knew of a local bar or maybe a shop where I could buy some supplies. Of course, with there just being hamlets around, the closest one was, you know, several kilometers away. They'd probably be shut already. It's Saturday as well, so it wasn't looking good. A passerby did point out a potential guest house that wasn't too far away, maybe a few kilometers. So I was gonna go there and check that out. And as I did, I had to double back and then passed a woman who asked me if I was lost, and then she promptly invited me in for a drink. It turns out that they brewed their own beer locally, and I had some of that, which was delicious. Obviously I drank that way too fast because I was quite thirsty. And then she also brought out some fruit, and before I knew it, they said that I could sleep I could set up my tent in their back garden, which was perfect. And then they offered me some soup, which had spinach that was grown in their back garden, which is delicious as well. Then out came more food and more food and more drink. And before I knew it, I was drinking several types of local homemade schnapps. I mean, they literally just brought out one after the other, and they were all really tasty. They had one infused with honey, they had one infused with pine leaves, which was really interesting. I think I must have had 4 or 5 shots in the end. But they were all really tasty, and we had great conversation. I mean, we talked for hours. I think it must have gone on until about midnight. And in the end, they just let me crash on their couch, which is very kind of them. Gregor and Irena, and their 2 wonderful kids, and their new little puppy Marley, who was very cute. And after a nice hearty breakfast and more of their delicious apple juice. Oh my god, I keep saying the word delicious, but I think they said last year they were able to make 480 liters of apple juice. They used over a ton of apples for this, all grown from trees outside their house and Gregor's dad's house, with nothing added literally chopped up, pressed, heated to 75 degrees and then sealed away, and it lasts all year and longer. I even scored a fresh cup of loose leaf Earl Grey tea this morning, so couldn't have had a better start to today. So yeah, it turned out to be a wonderful evening. It was great. Yeah, it was great. I had a conversation this morning with Gregor about immigration and how recently there have been a couple of isolated incidents of refugees committing crimes on their way through Slovenia. I think in this political climate it's very easy to be pessimistic and cynical and suspicious. I'd like to think that the majority of people know better than to judge first and ask questions later. And every time I come across people like Irena and Gregor, I am reminded that this is the case. Slovenia, you're spoiling me. I was just walking along when the guy stopped me, asked me if I needed help for directions, and he promptly invited me for a beer. It's delicious, like a radler, but it had grapefruit juice instead of lemonade. It's really tasty. So I sat down with him in his garden and chatted to his family. Unfortunately, the girls were heading off to a summer camp, so we didn't get too long, but yeah, it was really nice. He even gave me 3 cans of beer for the road, so yeah, really nice. Did I mention how amazing everyone is at English? Even out here in the sticks, it just makes everything so much easier. What a way to round off week 1, eh?